All right, guys, welcome to the Sweat Podcast. This is not an episode. We're just doing a quick update and some corrections and exclusions from episode 1. A little quick teaser for episode 2 coming next Monday night. If you are watching on YouTube, this will serve as the precursor to the show. So just want to correct a few things from episode 1 if you did watch, or if you're on YouTube about to listen to episode 1 right now. Every time I say that Tough Cuts is a stream created by Ray West, that is incorrect. That is actually Ray Netta. I apologize for that mistake. I've actually been in conversation with Ray Netta several times about his stream and just got the names messed up there. Most of the time that I've been chatting with him, I've been talking to him through his page, Tough Cuts, so I did not have the name correct in my head. I apologize for that. So that is Ray Netta of Tough Cuts. Check him out. Nice stream, getting better all the time. So also minor mistake there. Chop Tank Bowling and Billiards weekly handicap 9-ball tournament is now once again winter break format. So note that change. If you are about to watch this episode on YouTube, I do get that incorrect when I'm talking about that tournament during the show. So one more thing. We had mentioned no tournament Wednesday night at Tom's Bullpen in Dover, Delaware. Nelson Toll just going through a real busy time, got a lot going on, so he was going to take a couple weeks off. Adam Frank will be filling in for Nelson Toll this Wednesday night at Tom's Bullpen. There is a tournament. Contact Adam Frank if you would like to play in that event. That is a handicapped, I think, 9-ball event. You'll have to check his page to find out for sure. While we're at it, we're going to quickly mention the tournaments for this coming weekend. Actually, if you watch the episode, or if you're about to, you'll notice that I didn't have all of my notes prepared at the time for this coming weekend when I told you the events coming up for this coming week. So Friday night open 9-ball tournament at Delmarva Billiards and Sports Bar. I think I did mention that one. That is my tournament. Contact me if you'd like to play there. No open 9-ball tournament this Friday night at Pockets Tavern. Tournament director Tariq Almala. Instead, Friday night open short rack 8-ball tournament at the Green Turtle in Bel Air, Maryland. Tournament director Brian Kilgore. Get in touch with him if you'd like to play in that. Of course, you have your Friday night open 9-ball tournament at Brews and Q's on the Boulevard in Glen Burnie, Maryland. $20 entry 9-ball tournament there. So Saturday, big tournament, Joe Norton tournaments. Fast track 8-ball team event, I believe. I do not have all the details for that event right in front of me, but that is at Brews and Q's on the Boulevard. And if you want any information about that tournament, you can check out Joe Norton Tournaments Facebook page. Joe Norton does a great job, runs huge events with really big Calcuttas. A lot of fun to play in those events. Does a lot of great work setting things up for different people. I mean, at every skill level, if you want a chance to play in a tournament for a lot of money, at any skill level, Joe Norton has something for you. Check out his events. So big one there. Also Sunday at the Green Turtle, 2 tournaments, same day, same place. Capped at 24, Green Turtle Open 9-ball, Bel Air, Maryland. Tournament director Brian Kilgore, and I believe Lively may be officially or unofficially your other tournament director there. But they're also having a 450 and below tournament the same day at the same venue. So 16 players they will take for the 450 and below, 24 players they will take for the open event. Contact Brian Kilgore or Liley if you'd like to play in that event. That's Sunday. Couple huge tournaments coming up in a couple weeks. I guess 2 weeks from this weekend. August 14th, huge weekend. Okay, we have 625 and under. I believe it's 9-ball event at Chop Tank Bowling and Billiards. Tournament director Danny Bell. I will be there streaming. This Sweat will be bringing you the live stream of the feature table. Live commentary the whole time. Hanging out with some other friends. Hopefully I'll have some other guys doing commentary with me. So you do not want to miss that one. 625 and under Fargo event. But just announced within the last week or so, the Billiard Sports Network Dynaspheres 10-ball cup has moved to August 14th and 15th. Tournament director, or I should say owners of Billiard Sports Network, Jake Lawson and Josh Setterfield I'm not entirely sure who the tournament director is. They may have somebody else running things, but you can get in contact with any of those guys at Billiard Sports Network if you'd like to participate in that event. That will be at the Bank Shot Bar and Grill in Laurel, Maryland. So, going to be a good one there. There's a couple other big events the same weekend. We are going to have a loaded weekend recap that week. So, you're not going to want to miss that. Find somewhere to play, go enjoy yourself, compete, play pool. I think that's everything I wanted to get to real quick. So for next Monday's show, of course, we'll have a weekend recap from all the tournaments that I just mentioned going on this weekend, going on this week. But in addition to that, there is a 2021 Billiard Education Foundation Junior Nationals going on. I believe that's in Vegas. If you'd like to catch the live stream, they're live right now. Check out BBTV on Facebook or BBTV Productions on YouTube. That's a nice stream. I don't know the gentleman running it, but he seems to be doing a great job. And I know a lot of you guys like to follow the juniors around. Skylar Hess is there. Sophia Mast is there. All the usual suspects. I think the Tates are there. Grayson Vaughn, Garrett Vaughn. Shout out to my buddy Grayson. Good luck out there, guys. So a lot of the guys, Landon Hollingsworth, I know is there. Don't know if Nate Childress is there. And we know he's been killing it over at the JIC. So check out that event. We'll have a full recap on that. I'll try to be watching as much of that as I can. Also, Pro 10 Ball event this week at the CSI Arizona State Championships. That's a 64-player field. I'm not going to recap all the Arizona State Championships except for the Pro 10 Ball event. And I believe I can't find anywhere confirmation that there will be a live stream for that. I know Q Sports International does have a YouTube channel. Hopefully there'll be a live stream for that. I'll find out if there's any way I can watch it, even if it's a pay-per-view. I'll do my best to get that and check out the footage and bring you guys a nice recap of that. So, and hopefully we're going to have a guest on. I do not have that locked in yet for next Monday. Working hard on it right now. As soon as I get off the computer for this video today, I will be working on that. So stay tuned. Going to be a good one. And if you are watching on YouTube right now, enjoy the show. All right, guys, welcome to the Sweat Podcast. First ever episode. I'm so excited. I'm your host, Jeremy Mason. Many of you know me. For those that don't, my name is Jeremy Mason, 31 years old, from Hartley, Delaware. Local pool promoter. I run tournaments. I do commentary. I live stream. And now we're starting this podcast, a new endeavor, guys. I am nervous. I hope you can't tell as much as I feel it. But we got a great show for you today. Got a lot to get to. It's incredible the amount of work that went into just doing homework on getting a great report for you guys from all the weekend events in the area. I guess I was going to say Delmarva area. Don't know if that's really the case. I don't know about tri-state area. We're going to cover some like southern PA. Actually, today we're going to cover a tournament that was way, way, way up in PA. So anyways, I'm going to give you guys a report, hopefully weekly. We'll see how it goes. That's the plan as of now, Monday evenings. We're going to start the show with a weekend report from the previous weekend. This week there was a ton going on in the area. But just exactly moving forward, what the region is for the events that I will be covering that we will call local. We'll see how it goes. So a bunch to get to today. I thought I was going to have time to get my notes printed out on a piece of paper, look real official, but not going to happen. So for this one anyways, I'm going to be looking at my phone. That's where my notes are. Sorry, guys. Thanks for being with me. I really appreciate any feedback that I get, any engagement that I get in the comments. I don't know how much engagement I'll have back and forth with the audience during this podcast. Again, episode 1, I have an idea of what I'd like this podcast to be, but who knows where it's going to go, what direction it'll take. But I know, like, a lot of you guys are familiar with the Pool Player Podcast. A lot of you guys are familiar with the Booth Brothers. This is not the Booth Brothers. It is a live show, but as much as I love any engagement, I encourage you guys to comment in the comments. I just can't promise that I will necessarily get to those comments during the show. Maybe we will set aside a time for me to look down at the comments and see if there's anything that I need to respond to. But I appreciate any of you guys out there watching. Hope you guys enjoy the show today. So let's just get right into it with the weekend report. First order of business. Mary Collins tournament up in Delco. This is her congratulatory post from that event. I don't know much about it. It was a D rank event. I'm not quite sure exactly what they used to determine the rankings for the players. I think Mary kind of has her own handicapping system, and they go off known skill levels. So congratulations to your winners there. Will Bird, first place. Second place, Mary Collins, cashing high in her own event. Smart enough not to finish first so that nobody can really get too mad. I like the look. Well played, Mary Collins. Good shooting. Third place, my man, Raymond West. Awesome. I actually just noticed that. Raymond West, if anybody doesn't know, his alias, Tough Cuts, on Facebook, he has been responsible for the live streams coming your way from the big tournaments that have been taking place at Pockets Tavern in Newcastle, Delaware. So shout out to Raymond West, man. Appreciate the work you're doing up there. Keep up the good work, sir. Fourth place, Joseph Teresi. Post says, on behalf of Jay Seafeld and Delco Pool, thank you for coming out and playing on Saturday. It was great to see some new faces in our Delco tournament. Of course, big thanks to Joe McGee and Marty McGee's. If you guys have never been to Marty McGee's, it's in southern Pennsylvania, I think in the general Philadelphia greater area. And nice place. They have diamond tables, good food. Go check them out sometime. So congratulations to your winners there. And shout out to Mary Collins, always running great events. Moving right along. Your champions from the big Scotch doubles tournament at the Frederick Moose Lodge. There was 2 big tournaments in Frederick on Saturday. Actually, guys, I'm taking a look at my notes here. I jumped ahead a little bit, so we'll quickly mention the Friday night tournaments from last week. Brews and Q's, of course. Tournament director Josh McCauley. If you guys ever want to go play at Brews, they have a tournament every Friday night. It's just a $20 entry. Anybody can play. Short races, anybody can win. A lot of fun. So first and second split, Tom Zippler, TJ Moore, no surprises there. Third place, Rick Molinaro, more of the same. Fourth place, your tournament director, Josh McCauley, with a strong finish. So shout out to those guys. Also, Friday Night Pockets Tavern in Newcastle, tournament director Tariq Elmala. Let's give him a big shout out, guys. Bringing pool back to life in northern Delaware. There has not been much going on in that area since the Slate Cafe in Smyrna closed. So big shout out to, once again, Raymond West with the stream and Tariq Elmala, giving up a lot in his own game. He's mentioned it to me a couple times, how difficult it is to play in an event and run the event at the same time. So Tariq really sacrificing a lot in his own game the last couple months running those Friday night events there. And they've been filling up like crazy. If you guys are looking for a good tournament on a Friday night, hit up Tariq Elmala. You do need to RSVP for that tournament. It has been filling up almost every Friday night. So, that being said, we'll get to it later, but they don't have one this week. Come to Delmarva. Your winners on Friday there. First and second split, Sean Wilkie had the hot seat. Josh Brothers came back through. Third place, Matt Craw. Fourth place, Joe Scott. 4 really strong players there. No surprises at all. Guys, if you are, this is Facebook Live. Obviously, these podcast episodes will later be uploaded to YouTube. If you are watching this on YouTube, and this was pre-recorded, all the links to the brackets that I have will be posted in the description. You can check out full results there. So, moving right along, no tournament last Friday night at Delmarva Billiards and Sports Bar. Tournament director, newsflash, is a bum. That would be me, if anybody doesn't know. So, back at it this Friday. Make sure you guys come out and support Jeff and Alyssa. Great room, great venue. Hopefully we'll have a great tournament this week. So, hit me up if you want to play. Back at it, moving right along. Where were we? The results from the big Scotch doubles tournament at the Frederick Lodge. Rick Winpigler and Earl Nichols. So Rick Winpigler wins every single Scotch doubles tournament that he plays in ever. And just to show you guys that he could do it, he pulled a Tom Brady. Tom Brady wins all the Super Bowls with the Patriots, and of course everyone says, he's not the greatest. So of course he had to go to a new team and do it there, just so that he could prove to everybody that it didn't matter. And now, of course, Rick Winpigler, you guys know him well, playing with Joe Stem all the time. They always win. But this week, Rick Winpigler took a different partner and won again. No surprises there. Rest of your results, I don't have all of them, but surprise, surprise, Joe Stem's team finished second. His teammate is Nemo. I don't know that I know that gentleman. Could not find an actual name for him, and I do not have a bracket from there. So congrats to Rick and Earl. Congrats to Joe and Nemo. And congrats to the people in charge of running that awesome tournament at the Frederick Lodge. Moving way, way, way up into Pennsylvania. What do we got here? Northward Social Club 8-ball event. Don't have a ton of information on this tournament. I do know that first and second place was Derek Daya, Caleb Corey. Once again, two strong players there. No surprises. They always win a lot of tournaments up in that area. But shout out to Z-Hob Productions. If you would like to check out any of the footage from that event, check out Z-Hob Productions on Facebook. And Christopher Zook, Jamie Gerber, those guys have a great, great stream. Go check them out, support them. They're real good guys. And I'm sure there's some good matches for you to watch on their 8-ball on the bar table. So moving right along, big weekend report. A lot of tournaments this last weekend. So moving back to Saturday, Chop Tank Bowling and Billiards weekly handicapped 9-ball tournament. Shout out to Danny Bell, owner of Chop Tank Bowling and Billiards in Cambridge, Maryland. That room just opened a few months ago, and they are awesome. If you have not been to Chop Tank Bowling and Billiards in Cambridge, Maryland, you have got to go. It is a pool hall. It has that old school feel. It's a bowling alley on one side, 16 bowling lanes, 16 diamond tables on the other side of the room, plenty of seating, and you can great seating for viewing the tables and checking out the action. And there is a lot of action to check out anytime you go there. So every Saturday they have a handicap 9-ball tournament. And it is set up to be very, very tough for the good players. Alternate break format. And they decided at the beginning, after a couple of those events, that the handicap system was not strong enough for the lower players, and they actually made the races shorter. So that is Danny Bell's custom-made handicapping system. Players can be anywhere from a 2, I think, all the way up to a 9, and it's not your normal APA 2 through 9. I know some APA 9s that are 6s in his handicap system, and so your 8s and your 9s are your like open and pro level players for his handicapping system, and you race to your number in that event. Alternate break, no fun for the big guns. A couple of them seem like they have started to figure it out, and you just have to play perfect pool start to finish if you are a high level player and you want to do well in that event. This week, 33 players. John Moody Jr. back in the winner's circle. First time since I believe he won the first 2 events that they had, and then they changed the handicapping system because of how he had dominated. So, champion John Moody Jr., double dips Chris Jenkins, who had the hot seat. Cohen Bell, 3rd place. I believe that's 3 straight top 3s for Cohen Bell, really climbing up the rankings. They do have season rankings as well, points standings, if you will. 4th place this week was Troy Bolden, and 5th, 6th, Holden Moody and Joe Chester. And so I'm just going to point out to you guys there that John Moody Jr., of course, a 9, Chris Jenkins an 8, Cohen Bell an 8, Troy Bolden a 4, cashes. Holden Moody a 2, cashes. And of course, Joe Chester, a 6 or a 7, strong player there. So just want to let you guys know, if you're looking for a good handicap tournament where any player has a chance to play and win, go check out that tournament, and I will show you guys the season standings right now. John Moody Jr. able to maintain. He already was in first place. He increases his lead slightly over Chris Jenkins, who was in second. But Cohen Bell, in the last 3 weeks, out of nowhere, up into third place. Pompey Pamplona, kind of been up near the top the entire time. Jeremy Wyatt coming on strong. Freddie Miles, been right there the whole way. Joe Chester. Andrea Thomas, she was a 2. I don't know if they've moved her handicap up. She was in the hot seat a couple weekends ago. So once again, anybody, any skill level has a chance to cash in that tournament. Go check it out. You do not know what you're missing if you have not been there. And they have great food. So moving right along. A couple more big events to get to. Let's take a look at... we're going to present this one a little bit differently. I want you guys to see something. This is your normal run-of-the-mill thank you post from a player after an event. Let's take a read. It's been a great weekend of pool. I just want to give a big thank you to Lieu and Brian Kilgore for putting on a fantastic event. Had a lot of fun coming out to shoot, and it was nice to catch up with some people I haven't seen in a while, as well as meet some new folks. Already looking forward to the next one, but until then, back to practicing and working on some of the aspects of my game that need improvement. Not much to see there, right? Real nice, humble, of course, thanking the tournament directors. Nothing to see, right? Well, let's take a look at who wrote this. Oh, by the way, David Stanley, your tournament champion. And guys, I loved this when I saw this because David Stanley, if you've ever met the guy, and I don't know him well, I've been at a lot of big tournaments where he's been there. I'm not sure we've ever said more than 2 words to one another. He's about 6'7", maybe 6'8", giant of a man, solid pool player, but doesn't get a lot of great results because he plays in tough tournaments. So he's just getting smashed in the ground all the time. And just probably the nicest, most humble guy you'll ever meet in your life. And this post, I think, exemplifies that. He won this tournament that we're about to talk about right now. Of course, you see there, you know who I'm talking about now because Lieu and Brian Kilgore were the tournament directors. So we're talking, of course, about the 550 and under event at the Green Turtle in Bel Air, Maryland on Sunday. David Stanley, your tournament champion. Nothing about winning. Didn't even mention it. Didn't mention a word about how he played, how he did. Just says, thanks for the tournament. I got a lot to work on. Can't wait for the next one. Does not get any better than that, guys. And by the way, there would be nothing wrong with him mentioning the fact that he had won or being happy for himself or proud of what he had accomplished. But I love that. So let's take a look at the rest of the results from that event. There you see Brian's post. I'll take a look at my notes here. David Stanley, I know, was first. Nick Spriggs, real close. 2 games away. He won the first set of the finals and lost 6-4 in the second set. Shout out to my boy, Nick Spriggs. Nick, if you're watching, meow. That's for him. I don't know if anybody else will get that, but hopefully he enjoys that. I need to look at my notes for the other 2 gentlemen's names. That James Chang. I know third place is James Chang. I definitely know him. So congrats, James. And fourth place, Miguel Tefano. Fifth, sixth, George Swire, Dan Bertel. 2 more strong players there. So strong field. Great win by David Stanley. And guys, you got to love that thank you post. Moving right along. The big one. The biggest tournament of the weekend. I was there. Maryland State 8-ball on the big track in Frederick, Champion Billiards. An On the Hill Productions event. Shout out to Rick Scarlato, Lloyd Bulliard, the rest of the staff. Shout out to Dave Nangle. I got to hang out with and do some commentary on Saturday. Of course, he was there all weekend, working like he always does. Shout out to him. Great event. If you guys have never played in a Maryland State event, they have 8-ball, 9-ball, 10-ball at Brews and Q's on the bar boxes. 8-ball, 9-ball, 10-ball at Champion Billiards in Frederick on the 9-footers, and you will not play in a better event. They're well run. Payouts are good. The stream is outstanding. And they play at great venues where the food is awesome, the staff is awesome. You will have a great time, and the competition does not get much better than it does at these events. Guys, check out the bracket. Once again, if you're watching on YouTube, bracket links will be posted in the description. If you're watching on Facebook Live right now, you can find the bracket on the Hill Productions Facebook page, where you see from left to right, tournament director Lloyd Bulliard, second place finisher Tuan Chow, right in the middle there, Dave Nangle, in charge of the live stream, tournament champion Jordan Gray, and there on the right, tournament director Rick Scarlato Jr. It was a great event. I'm just gonna give you guys my thoughts on a couple of the players, how they finished, how they played. I have the rest of the results here. We'll start at the bottom, 5th through 6th. Tied for 5th, Joey Korziak. What can you say? Last 4 trips to Maryland, a third, a first, and here a 5th. So disappointing finish for Joey Korziak, 5th, 6th place. He was your first blind bid at the event. Not the usual suspects here in the top 2, but you see Dylan Spohr there in 3rd. Brandon Schuff finished 4th. Brandon Schuff and Joey Korziak, your only 700 Fargo players in the event, to my understanding. Other than that, it was loaded with a ton of players ranging from 625 to 680. There was a bunch of them. You know, a lot of them. Mikey Soleil was there. Clint Clayton was there. Paul O was there. I could keep going off the top of my head. There was so many. A lot of the usual suspects. And Dylan Spohr, 3rd place. Let's get back to, I'm a little ahead of myself here. So back to the other 5th, 6th place finisher, Brian Jones. Shout out to Brian Jones. I don't want to say played above his head. I don't want to disrespect his game, but final 8 on the winner's side. Upsets Joey Korziak, trailing 5-2, comes back for the 6-5 win. Great win, Brian. And against the guy that seemingly nobody can beat right now. Brian got it done. Gets to the final 4 of the winner's side. Would proceed to lose his next 2 matches after that. Finishes tied for 5th. Real strong finish. And Brian Jones, always at the events, always great attitude, always giving it his best, and great to see him with the high finish there. So shout out to Brian Jones. 4th place, Brandon Schuff. Once again, a little disappointing for him. This was a smaller field than your typical Maryland State event. It's the middle of the summer. There's a ton of tournaments going on. Big table doesn't always attract as many players as the bar table does. We had 42 players there. Definitely a strong field, but not the numbers that you have at a lot of these events. Brandon Schuff, 4th place, not what he wanted. But which is a testament to how great of a player he is, because always in the top 6, always one of the guys that you're expecting to be right there with the win. Didn't quite have his A game. And your 3rd place finisher there, Dylan Spohr, beat him again. We've just seen it over and over again. I feel like Brandon and Dylan have played at every big event in Maryland for the past 2 years. And I don't know what the actual numbers on it. I was told, I think, that Dylan has won like 5 of the last 8 and now 6 of the last 9. So a little bit of a rivalry in the works there. And listen, Brandon's the better player, okay? You put him on a table right now, make him race to 30, my money's on Brandon. But you got to love what Dylan's doing, man. He's not afraid. And I'm sure at this point, got to be a little bit in Brandon's head. So something fun to watch moving forward. And you got to love to see the young man, Dylan, playing the way that he is, seemingly always getting better and better and better. And he is playing well enough right now to win any of these events at any time. I'm a little bit surprised that he has not won one already, but you see him here with another 3rd place finish. I think that's 4 top 4 finishes at Maryland State events in the last 2 years for Dylan Spohr. Very, very strong stuff. I believe with all my heart he's going to win one very soon, and when he does, I believe the floodgates will open and you will see him in the winner's circle over and over and over again. So shout out to Dylan. Keep working hard, buddy. Proud of the way your game's always improving. And also shout out to Dylan. Hung out in the commentary booth with us, which was also fun. So second place, Tuan Chow. Real strong player. Maybe some of you guys aren't familiar with him, but he plays at a lot of tournaments over at Brews and Q's. Not all of them. So, I mean, some of you may not know him, but real good player. Mid 600s in the Fargo rate. All three of these guys, right between 640 and 660 in Fargo rate. So no real surprises here, per se, by the numbers. But Tuan Chow, maybe not what everybody expected. Was in the final 8 on the winner's side, lost that match, had to win 5 or 6 matches in a row to get back to the finals, and won the first match of the finals, and got within 2 games of snapping the tournament off. Shout out to Tuan Chow. Real strong play there. And your champion, Jordan Gray, man, what can you say? A lot of us had no idea who he was. I mean, there was Fargo ratings on the Calcutta sheet printed out right there for everybody to look at. And we looked at I want to say it was 657. And somebody bid, a decent amount of money in the Calcutta. 200 or 300 maybe, which is about what most of your mid 600 players went for in this event. But I'm not sure 5 of us knew who he was. Yeah, man, I could be wrong. Maybe if you're out there and you knew who Jordan Gray was and you were at that event beforehand, let me know. But he just came out of the gates playing great pool, hanging out on the winner's side. He beat me, which is no feat necessarily, but I was impressed as soon as I saw him play from the first shot on. He has a monster stroke. His warm-up strokes looks like he's getting ready to swing a baseball bat. Looks like the 9-foot table may not be big enough for him. From what I understand, he is from Virginia. A real nice guy. He was a gentleman at the table. The only thing I could say negative about him at all is that he seemed to be a little down on himself with some of the mistakes. Seemed to carry some of the mistakes from rack to rack. And because of that, it seemed like the only person at this tournament that could beat Jordan Gray this week on that day was Jordan Gray. And but even that wasn't enough. He got it done. Played really, really well. Played a couple ridiculous shots in the finals. There was one in particular where Tuan had hung up the 8-ball in the side pocket. It was literally hanging in the side pocket, and Jordan had 2 balls and had no shot unless he wanted to try a crazy bank shot long to the corner or try a crazy cut shot and carry him into the other ball. And all he could do was roll up onto the one ball with perfect speed and lock onto the back of the other ball. And he hit it so sweet. That Tuan didn't even have a kick. He didn't have a 3-railer. He didn't have a 1-railer. He tried to play a little bit of a swerve 1-rail kick and ended up clipping the ball that he was hooked on. So really strong play from Jordan. Impressive young man. And I think some improvements to be made in the mental game, and he can get even better than he is. So congratulations, your Maryland State Big Table 8-ball champion, Jordan Gray. Good work, sir. While I'm at it, all 3 of these pictures on the bottom of your screen, you see the logo, Josh Parks Photography. Check him out, guys. And I say this all the time. I'll continue to say it as often as I get the chance at the platform. We've got a couple really nice professional billiards photographers working almost every weekend, running around somewhere with a camera, taking great professional shots of you guys while you're at these tournaments. Support them. Luke Thompson has a website. You can go on and purchase the digital rights to your photos when he takes them. Go check them out. See if you like them and buy them. Josh Parks works for tips. If you get a real nice shot, you like it, you make it your profile picture, send the man some money. He's working. He deserves it. And as you can see on your screen, he's good. I'll give you one more shot. If he can make that guy look good, he's a professional. I'm talking about the guy in the orange, by the way, not Dave Nangle. So this is your weekly reminder to tip your local professional billiards photographer. And that will conclude our weekend wrap up. Some of you, especially you local guys, are going to say, whoa, 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 you forgot one. I did. We'll get to it. But I'm going to take a moment now to kind of explain a little bit more of my vision for this podcast. As you saw there, we have a weekend wrap up from the previous weekend's tournaments. Plan on doing that to start out every show. Plan on ending the show by telling you guys what events are coming up the following weekend, and for some of the bigger events, maybe giving you a broader perspective of what's coming up maybe in a month or so. If there's any professional events going on around the country, I plan on having a segment during the show where we talk about that. Maybe my thoughts on that if I get a chance to watch it or whatever. But in the middle of the show, I'd like to have a little discussion. Today I don't have a guest. Moving forward, we'll have some guests. But it's not just going to be it's not just going to be an interview. There's podcasts for that out there. Shout out to Pool Players Podcast. Shout out to the Booth Brothers. Shout out to Cue It Up. But you guys have that already. So mine's going to be a little bit different. These are going to be conversations about issues in pool. Things that I think are issues, things that I think are topics we need to discuss. Maybe themed conversations about certain aspects of the mental game. And that's where we're going to go with it today. You guys have seen the title for today's episode. We're calling this one, I Can Do Hard Things. So let's get right into it. And you're going to see we do have one more tournament result from last weekend to get to. And we're going to get to it. I'm going to use that during this segment to illustrate a point. So let's get right into it, guys. I'm going to take one moment really quick to check my phone. I have not looked at any comments yet. So I actually haven't even done an audio check. So I hope you guys have been actually able to hear me this entire time. Check my phone. I have not looked at. So hopefully that sounds good. The audio is at least on. I appreciate you guys that are watching. Hope you've enjoyed the show so far. So let's get right into it. We're going to talk about this. And today I want to talk about internal dialogue at the table. And in particular, one thing that I've discovered you need to be telling yourself, and you need to change your thought process on a certain aspect. So the way that I got here this week, shout out to my beautiful wife and my little baby boy. That's Maddie and Steph on your screen right now. Love them guys to death. Most of you guys know we're new parents. That's Stephen Duke Mason right there. He's just 6 months years old. Love that. 6 months old. And of course, Maddie's your typical Pinterest mom. She wants to read everything she can possibly read about parenting, and she's doing a great job. She's an awesome mom, and it's the best thing I've ever been a part of, to be able to watch her be Steph's mom. It's been great. So anyways, one of the things that she came across maybe a week ago or so, something we discussed, it was a post. I believe it was technically directed at teachers, but it had to do with how you talk to your students. And of course, that translates to parents and how you talk to your children. And maybe a better way to say certain things at times. And that's what it was about. So it's called Your Words Matter. And we could sit here and read through all these. I thought some of them were great. I thought some of them were kind of, okay. But we're going to take just a second here and focus on this one. In particular, instead of saying it's not that hard. So, your child, your student, whatever, is struggling with something, and we tell them, come on, it's not that hard. And instead of saying that, they're suggesting that we say, you can do hard things. You see the difference there? It doesn't have to be easy, because you can do hard things. And I was thinking about that. I thought about that a lot this weekend. I've been thinking about it all day because I knew I was going to talk about it tonight. And I think that's good. Because, it turns out it is hard. We're not all Dylan Spohr. And I don't say that to disrespect the amount of hard work that the young man has put into his game, but you guys know that the kid makes it look easy. And sometimes I think it is easy for him. But it's not easy. It's hard. The game is hard. Playing pool at a high level consistently is hard. Taking your game to another level is hard. Beating somebody who is better than you is hard. Having to do it again in the next round of the tournament that you're in is hard. This is a hard game. And you didn't fall in love with it because it was easy. The first time you got on the table and you couldn't make a ball, and then you finally got one to go where you were trying to make it, that feeling of overcoming, achieving, was not because it was easy to get there. I think sometimes we forget that. All of us. We want it to be easy. We go to a Maryland State 8-ball tournament, and we want an easy draw. We don't get an easy draw. We end up against a good player, and we want him to miss a bunch. We want him to have an offset so that we can win. I was there. I was at Maryland State 8-ball this week. I played. My first match, I beat a player that was much better than me by Fargo. If I'm not mistaken, he's a 640. I'm a 592. He's about 40 points higher than me or 50 points higher than me by Fargo. And then in the second round, I got to play Jordan Gray, the guy that would win the tournament. It wasn't easy. And right about then, I was like, okay, this is going to be one of those days, didn't get an easy draw. I'm playing well, but might not be enough. So third round, my first match on the loser side, Paul O. And I'm like, here we go, man. This is just not my day. But early in that match, I had the thought, I remembered this. You can do hard things. All those hours of practice that you put in, all those matches that you've played, all those tournaments that you've gone to and driven and gotten home at dumb hours of the night. All that work wasn't put in so that you could win when things were easy. You can do hard things. I started telling myself that. I told myself that a couple times. I'm playing Paul O. He's way better than me. Most of you guys know who that is. Good player. Real good player. But I can do hard things. And, we got to about 4-4. And I'm telling myself, I can do this. I can do hard things. And I went on to win that match. Because I can do hard things. And you guys that are listening, maybe you're a different skill level than I am. But you can do hard things too. And maybe your hard is different than my hard. It probably is. Some of you are much better than me. Some of you are trying to overcome obstacles in your game that I may never even get to. But you can do hard things. And I think you need to work on telling yourself that. You need to change your internal dialogue when you're at a tournament, when you're in a match, when things aren't going your way, when you're not getting the rolls. You know what I found about the rolls? Is that when I feel like I'm being unlucky, I end up finding plenty of evidence to back up that hypothesis. But you know what? You can do hard things. Try that. Next time you're at a tournament, you know what? I don't need an easy draw. I didn't come here today to get an easy draw. I hope I get a player that plays better than me every match because I can do hard things. And I didn't fall in love with this game that all of us love. If you're watching this, there's a real good chance you're probably in love with this game. You're not in love with Jeremy Mason. Well, there's a chance my wife's out there watching, and so maybe there's one exception out there. But you guys fell in love with this game that we all love because you love hard things. And if it was easy, it wouldn't matter. So that's what I want to talk about this week. That was the introduction, I guess. Sorry, guys. So let's talk about the Open 10-ball tournament at Pockets Tavern. Tournament director Tariq Mala. Great tournament he ran. Live stream by Raymond West. Check out Tough Cuts on Facebook. Great stream, getting better all the time. Here's your top 6. I think they had 36 players there. Here's your top 6. I screwed that up. This is what I wanted to show you. And it's not your top 6. That's 5 of the top 6 with their Fargo ratings. And then I wanted to do this, but I screwed it up. So there's your top 6. What's wrong with this picture? Open 10-ball event. 36 players. $746, $687, $660, $636, $609. $477. Sean Heller. Oh, and by the way, you know what? I don't think I got the graphic for the rest of these guys. Let me look at this on my phone real quick. I'm going to give you guys a little bit more insight here. Sorry for the pause there. I meant to have this graphic on the screen as well, but okay. Other players in the field. Josh Brothers, 714. Vinny Cimarelli, 669. Mike Saleh, 661. Mike Persuzzi, 651. Clint Clayton, 631. Joe Scott, 626. John Pavlovsky, 616. Tommy K, 615. Al Campo, 600. Terry Reed, 599. Jeff Spellman, 592. Jody Toljan, 587. Dane Clark, 578. Ben Davis, 577. Eric Brobes, 573. Dan Zimmerman, 571. Sean Castano, 569. Sonny Meyer, 559. Zach Patel, 547. And right here, top 6. Sean Heller, 477. Somebody in the comments on the live stream last night said that's what's wrong with Fargo. They're sandbaggers. That's what's wrong with any rating system. They're sandbaggers. I got news for you guys. I know Sean Heller. I know him decently well. I would call him my friend. He's at my tournaments all the time. Whenever he can possibly be there. There he is. Sean Heller. Definitely not a sandbagger. Okay, so we mentioned already that there was a 550 and below Fargo event going on the same day. He could have gone to that tournament, driven maybe half an hour longer, and been getting weight from most of the players in the tournament because it was a rated event. 550 and below, and he would have been, I think, at least a B player, maybe a C. But he was at an open event like he always is. He plays open events. Never seen him take a spot from anybody. If anybody out there wants to play some cheap sets, even up, I'll give him your number. He'll play you. Plays even sets with me all the time. He's got heart. And his Fargo's not accurate. I will give you that. I'll give you that. It just so happens that he's had a little bit of an elongated slump that has happened to coincide with the time frame where my tournaments have started to report results to Fargo. And so he has a lot of data in the system that is not necessarily reflective of the kind of player that he is capable of being. In my opinion, and I'm decent at rating players, I follow every bracket from every tournament in the tri-state area every weekend, even the weekly ones. I'm a nerd, if you haven't figured it out already. And in my opinion, Sean Heller playing his game, the real Sean Heller, is a good 550, somewhere between 550 and 575 in my opinion. So yes, you're right. His Fargo rating is not accurate because of what I just detailed a moment ago. But he's not a sandbagger. So let's get that straight first of all. But here he was, open tournament. By the numbers, one of the worst players there. But here he is, top 6. You know why? Because you can do hard things. You guys that are out there that don't feel like it's worth your time to go out and play in tournaments because you never cash, first of all, the money's probably never going to be worth your while anyways. So let's get that straight. But you can do hard things. And Sean Heller went to a tournament that was, you know, if you showed them anybody the numbers, they'd have sold you that he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. That's not what I see here. Top 6 in a monstrous field. Because you can do hard things. So let's take a moment real quick. We'll take a glance here at the rest of the results from that tournament since we haven't done it already. Just give me a moment to find my notes on that. Off the top of my head, since I'm having a little bit of trouble finding it. First place, Matt Craw. Second place, Matt Douglas. Shout out to a working man with 3 kids who plays pool once a week. Second place, Matt Douglas, because you can do hard things. Third place, Sean Wilkie. No surprises there. Probably not the result he wanted with the third place, but fourth place, Derek Hester, my boy. Good shooting. Lost to Sean Wilkie twice. Your other 5th, 6th finisher, Spanish Danny. No surprises there. Shout out once again to Tariko Mala. Great tournament, man. That was a real good one. And I can't tell you how thrilled I am to see a field like that being played in northern Delaware. First time in a while. So good job, man. Keep doing what you're doing. But let's get back to the topic at hand here. I was playing my 4th match at the Maryland State 8-ball tournament after I defeated Paul O. Playing a young man by the name of, man, I'm going to get this wrong. I'm going to have to look at my notes again here. I'm probably going to look at it and still get it wrong. June. Maybe Junick John, I'm not sure. Strong player, about just over 600 Fargo rate. Young man, had a blast playing that match. He was very respectful, really nice guy, and played really, really well. We were tied at 3. Actually, I think I was up 3-2, and from there, all I did was break dry twice. And he ran out 4 racks in a row, and none of them were easy. And about the second one, the last 6 shots of the run out, he had to have a perfect cue ball. Could not get out of line an inch and made tough shot after tough shot after tough shot after tough shot. Executed perfectly with a perfect cue ball. And after he makes the 8, he looks over at me and he says, "That's why I hate 8-ball." And I'm in my seat like, my jaw is on the floor. It's one of the sickest runouts I've ever seen. And I say to him, I don't understand that. Because that's why I love 8-ball. Because you never feel that good after a run out in 9-ball. Not as good as he did on that one. Because that's how good of a game 8-ball is. Because it's hard. Um, but you can do hard things. And that's why I like it. That's why 8 Ball is my favorite game, because it's really hard to play run out 8 Ball. To play in an environment where you have to run out. And if you almost get there and you don't, you already know what it is. But you can do hard things. Junik, if you're watching, maybe you need to change your thinking on that, man. First of all, shout out, you played ridiculous. Because you can do hard things. I'm gonna give you guys. I'm gonna do a little bit out in left field here. You guys can actually see on my bookshelf back there. I have a Bible sitting there. It was actually interesting. I actually had the pleasure of speaking with Joey Ryan of the Pool Player Podcast before this episode today. And he mentioned his faith, and he mentioned Melina Mike's faith, and maybe you're listening and you're not a Christian, or you don't believe in the Bible or God or whatever. It's tough to argue with the fact that the Bible has wisdom and a lot of encouragement and things like that. So I'm going to give you guys a Bible verse to follow the topic, hopefully weekly. And this week's a very common verse, Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ, which strengtheneth me. A lot of people know that verse. Very good verse. You can do hard things. You can. So next time you're out there at a tournament or playing the game, just trying to get out when you can't, it's hard. Instead of wanting it to be easier, go back to why you love the game in the first place and tell yourself that you can do hard things. There's one more real quick point along this line that I do want to make. I actually saw a cartoon on Facebook today. Somebody that I follow shared it. It was about Mr. Rogers, who was hanging out with Thor, and he saw Thor's hammer, and he said, "Oh, that's pretty cool. Can I pick it up?" And Thor's like, "Well, you can if you want. You could try it. It's hard for a lot of people. A lot of people can't do it." Mr. Rogers, of course, just picks it up very easily and says, "It doesn't seem to be very difficult for me. That's interesting. But, isn't that just how life is?" I don't remember exactly how he says it, but he says something along the lines of, certain things are harder for other people than they are for me. And certain things are harder for me than they are for other people. Isn't that what's great about life? And so another thought along the same lines of what we've been talking about, a point that I've been thinking about a lot, a point that I made in a conversation on Facebook with a friend today. I think one of the problems in pool that I see, not all the time, but I do see it, is that we put so much value into ability in this game because we've worked so hard. We've invested so much into being good at this game. Many of us, all of us, probably, to some level, that we put a lot of value on being good at pool, which is okay. But what you have to be careful about is putting so much value on being good at pool that you get into a situation where you start to have trouble respecting people who aren't as good as you the way that you ought to. And so, you can do hard things. And we're talking about pool. But there are people out there that pool's too hard for. There's some lower level skill players that try their absolute best and give it everything they've got. And they may not ever get any better than they are. But they can do hard things too. Maybe just not pool. And I'm sure everybody out there watching is probably a hardcore pool junkie like myself. But there's a lot of other things in this life that are valuable, that are hard. And if you're a good player, and all of you are some level of good, and there's people that are worse than you, remember that you're not better than them. Remember that they bring value to this world in a different way than you do. And along that line, remember that pool isn't necessarily the way that you bring value to the world. And that's a topic for another day. We can get real deep into that. But I just wanted to point that out. And it's a problem that I see. And it's something I'd like to nip in the bud every chance I get, because there's some really, really good people out there who are good at a lot of things, and they can do hard things. Maybe pool's not one of them. And you're not better than them because you can run a rack. I think that's everything I want to say about that today. So we're about done here. I'm going to get into upcoming schedule for this weekend. As far as I know, no tournament at Tom's Bullpen this weekend on Wednesday in Dover. But check out Nelson Toll's page to find out for sure. He mentioned last week that he may not be having that tournament for a little while, as things are real busy for him right now in other aspects of his life. So definitely check out his post to figure that out. But on Wednesday night, you can go to Delmarva Billiards and Sports Bar. They have a 8-ball tournament there every Wednesday night. I believe it's a $15 entry. It's races to 2 on both sides. It's a lot of fun. And they get different winners out there all the time. Short races, anybody can win. And it's a good time. So go check them out. I think just Alyssa Belode is and I probably said her last name wrong. I apologize, Alyssa, if that's the case. I think she's your tournament director, but you don't have to tell anybody you're coming. Just show up, be there. I think the play starts at 7:00, but you can check out Delmarva Billiards and Sports Bar's Facebook page to get more information on that. There's a Wednesday night 10-ball tournament every week at Center Pocket in Bowie, Maryland. I'm actually not sure who the tournament director is there either. It may be Rachel Moran, but I'm not sure. I think I may have just seen her post about it several times. So go check them out if you're in the area in Bowie. Nice new pool room there with diamond tables. So that one's a lot of fun. Every Thursday night, Jumbo Jimmy's. Sean Wilkie runs an 8-ball tournament. I think it's race to 3 on both sides, maybe race to 3, race to 2. Check that one out. Another good weekly tournament. We already mentioned no Friday night tournament this week at Pockets Tavern. That's tournament director Tariq Almala. They're just off for the 1 week. There's an event going on at the venue. So all you guys that have been going to play at Pockets Tavern, I want to see you at Delmarva Billiards and Sports Bar for the weekly open 9-ball tournament run by yours truly. Let's have a good one, all right? So let me know if you want to come play Delmarva Billiards and Sports Bar Open 9-ball tournament this Friday at 7:30. Also, as you guys know, there's always a Open 9-ball tournament every Friday night at Brews and Q's on the Boulevard. Tournament director Josh McCauley. That's just a $20 buy-in, and it's a great venue. Great option to go play there. And there's always the Friday night chip tournament up at South Jersey Billiards. Tournament director Tony Rudy. Check out their Facebook page. Follow Tony Rudy on Facebook if you would like to get in contact with him. Check that one out. That's a good one. A handicap chip tournament. It's a lot of fun. They get a great turnout for that one. And another place working real hard on the venue, getting more tables in from what I've seen. So go check them out. Guys, I don't have any tournaments to report for this weekend for Saturday and Sunday. I am sure there's something going on. Just don't have that for you. Moving forward, guys, if you're out there, if you're a tournament director, if you would like your tournament to be mentioned at the end of the podcast and you are in Delaware or the eastern part of Maryland or southern Pennsylvania, let me know. I'll give you a shout out and we'll work together, make sure everybody knows what tournaments are going on, where they can go play. Guys, there is no excuse. If you want to go play pool, if you want to compete and work on your game and get better, there is plenty of places to play. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm sure. I think there's a Tuesday tournament somewhere in Maryland. I could be wrong about that. Maybe Triple Nines, Jumbo Jimmy, something like that. So there is places to play. Go do it. Work on your game. And remember this week, guys, that you can do hard things. This has been episode 1 of the Sweat Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Mason. I've had a blast hanging out with you guys. And until next week, see you later.